Hello, hello, good morning to you all. I say good morning because it's morning here in Suffolk, Virginia. I'm Recie Myers and I'm coming to you live. And it might be afternoon where you are, so if it's afternoon, good afternoon to you. If it's evening, good evening to you. Every morning, usually my partner, my husband Roland, and I come and share a nugget or two with you. We are on our journey exploring greatness in all of its forms. Roland is not here with me right now, but hopefully he'll be here for the weekend. So I'm speaking to spiritual entrepreneurs, people who know that they're destined for more. They want more in their lives. They're willing to do more. They want to be more. They want to impact more lives. And this morning, I'm just going to continue talking a little bit more in depth about the 15 different things I shared last week that we should all be working on. Different skills, 15 different skills that we ought to be developing in ourselves. These are skills that are not going to be mastered overnight. It will take some time. So, good morning to you, Ursula. Good morning. And good morning, Adeline. Good morning to you. So, I'm focusing today on listening. You know, that's one of the skills that we need to work on developing within ourselves. How do you listen better? How do you become an effective listener? So I've been listening to Alex Landon. He had been talking about 6 different steps that we need to engage in to be a more effective listener. And you know, the thing is, in schools, we teach children how to read, maybe how to write, but we don't spend as much time in teaching them how to be effective listeners or speakers. You know, that doesn't get the same attention as learning to read or write. So these are some of the 6 tips that that Alex Landon shared. He says to be an effective listener, you need to first give positive feedback. So if you're speaking to maybe one-on-one or in a small group, you know, number one, you need to show that you're listening. You establish eye contact, you know, give positive feedback. These are nonverbal, that is, nonverbal. So you can give nonverbal positive feedback. The person will know that you're listening if you're looking at them, not looking all around. You know, use the eye contact, like I said. Now, if you're looking and you're kind of like staring with a stone face, you might be giving off another signal that you're not really listening, but you're more judgmental. But if you are really genuinely trying to support that person and to listen, you would have some kind of eye contact. Use your facial expressions. 2, then you can give verbal feedback. This is like, okay, you know, I hear you. Oh, okay, you know, you respond, well, that makes sense. Or you know, I hear you saying such and such, you know, XYZ. You give verbal feedback, or I know where you're coming from. That was number 2, verbal feedback. 3rd, listen for the big picture. Now, if the person is frustrated, you can, number 1, hear it in their voice. If they're confused about something, you're looking at the big picture. You kind of get a sense of where they're coming from. That way you can better focus on what they're saying and give the appropriate responses, you know, especially if it's an emotional discussion. That's number 3, listen for the big picture. 4, stay on them. He says stay on them. What he meant by that is, you know, somebody may say something and maybe you have experienced something and you want to maybe share your experience, but don't take over the whole conversation and make it all about you. You know, and then you don't let them get to say what's on their minds. That's horrible. You know, don't take over the conversation. If what you need to say goes into number 5, make sure that your response is concise. You know, you say, yeah, I've experienced that before, but don't go into your whole example of, you know, this happened and that happened, and you just take over the whole conversation and the person didn't get to say what they really wanted to say. So that's number 5. Make sure that your talking points or your feedback is concise and that you're taking turns, allowing them to still continue the conversation. And number 6, take action and follow up. So let's say you had a conversation today. The person was frustrated or they were confused about something. You talk with them, right? Maybe you follow up, maybe the same day later or the next day through email. That's fine. You can send them a text. Maybe even better, call them. Hey, how are you doing today? Yeah, yesterday I know you weren't too, but hopefully today's better. That shows that you were genuinely concerned about that person. Now, I was also listening to another gentleman. He is an expert in the area of sound and using sound in your business. His name is Julian Treasure. And he gave some actual exercises to do to strengthen our listening skills. I'm not going to go through all of them. He had like maybe 5 or 6. I will share these 2. He says, silence. That's an exercise to do that you can do every day. For 3 minutes, just be silent. And then in that silence, listen for all the different channels of sound that you can hear. He calls that mixer. How many different channels of sound you can hear. Like if you're out in nature, maybe you hear one bird whistling, you hear some other sound, maybe crickets. That's in nature. Now, if you're in a busy city, maybe you hear buses, maybe you hear the train, maybe you hear, so for 3 minutes, just practice silence. And in that silence, listen for different sounds. He equated it or talked about how to use sound in business. I'm not going to get into all of that, but Julian Treasure, an expert, he's a TED speaker, and he talked about 5 ways to better use sound, or 5 ways to be a better listener. Thank you for the love and hearts. I just want to, as I learn things, I want to bring it to my listening audience, especially those spiritual entrepreneurs who want to be better, the best version of themselves. And as I'm on my journey improving me, I wanted to know what things do I need to focus on to be a better, the best version of myself. And talking about that, this is my new book. It's called Inquisitive Island Iguanas. It's a children's book. And one of the themes or the messages in the story is about becoming a better listener. Sometimes children especially, they don't want to listen. When we try to impart knowledge to them, sometimes they don't want to hear it. And even adults too. So sometimes it becomes necessary to learn lessons the hard way. It's unfortunate that some of us have to experience the life of hard knocks the hard way instead of listening to counsel from our elders, of those who know. So I just wanted to pass that on to you all. It is available at Amazon. It's available at Barnes & Noble, available at Friesen Press for your children. And in conjunction with the book, at the back, there is some activities that will not only improve comprehension, but that was one of the main themes. And so I'm glad that I was looking at this. I said, hey, I could talk a little bit about my book. Summer's coming. School will be out. Children will be out in school to play, but you still want to keep their minds engaged. So you know where you can go and get this. All right, let's see. Michelle. Good morning, Michelle. This is confirmation this morning. Thank you. Well, confirmation. I'm glad I brought some value to you. And tell me if any of what I've said resonates with you, if you think there's someone who can benefit from it, that on your list, if your friends in social media, whatever, go ahead and share this out. Because, our schools, our children, society could learn a lot from some of these simple life lessons, Good morning, Cynthia. Good morning, Cynthia. Glad that you can join me this morning. Good morning, Steve. And a number of you have come on. Thank you. Yes, Siva, listening is important. A lot of us don't listen enough, especially when someone is trying to share something important to them with us. Our minds may be wandering and you're looking at them, but you're not really listening. So we can all become more effective listeners. So I thank you for joining me this morning. Every morning, Roland and I come and share something with you that can help you in your personal life, in your business. And so to this morning, I brought the skill of listening, how we can work on improving that within ourselves. I do have also in the description a link for a small group that I've started where I can support you if you'd like to join me on this quest in being the best that you can be, accomplishing and achieving your goals. I have the link there for you, as well as a link to Recie's domain. So thank you for joining me this morning. Again, share it out. Tell me where you're tuning in from. I always love to know that. And I will see you on Monday. So be blessed to make today powerful. Bye now.